It's been a while since we all gathered formally. You guys gathered for the Fringe while I was on holidays, but it's the first time I've been at the table for a while, and our room is in chaos. Everything's in chaos.
Pretty much.
The viewers will never know this, but we're going through a massive renovation in our department, and we're just all in disarray. So it's nice to kind of just sit and chat for a while, not move heavy boxes.
Yeah, I realized that my desk is a lot less interesting than Tracy Koga's desk.
Yeah.
Like stuff that's coming out of her desk, I'm like, I'll have that. Wow, that's pretty good. You got some red gitch.
I got some red gitch, yeah.
Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
Oh my goodness. He threw the Tootsie Roll in the garbage.
Yeah, well, when you give me a pair of gitch with a Tootsie Roll in it, I'm not going to eat the Tootsie Roll. There's no way.
Are you going to wear the tiny red, well, they're not tidy whities, tidy reddies?
Am I going to wear them?
Oh, it's Winnipeg.
They look a little tiny for you.
Yeah, they are a little tiny.
You're not an octave higher, I would have expected.
Nope.
Not yet.
You're all good.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, that'll
By
come later
the
in the
end of the day, for sure.
Fair enough. Well, speaking, I mean, we've unearthed some interesting things as we have cleaned up our department. What's the most interesting thing you found in your own desk that you didn't know was there, perhaps? Well, no, you guys are new, so you haven't had a lot of time to.
2 years. That's not enough to really accumulate funny stuff.
But you've been at that desk for 10 years.
I know. The red underwear was like totally. That was like, what is this? And I think it was a promo for one of the years at the folk festival, and they ran out of T-shirts, so they decided let's go underwear.
Here's some gitch. Yeah.
And
great.
Pulled them out, and everybody, bar none, said your name.
Really?
This goes to
Give it to Jay.
Give it to Jay.
I will use them.
And they're brand new. Like
I
they
probably-
haven't been used.
Well, not
And
now.
I was lying. I'm not wearing them right now, but I probably will wear them at next Folk Fest.
Oh, we should have brought them.
Why Folk Fest? There's going to be a day when you don't have clean laundry.
They say Folk Fest on the butt.
Well, I know, but you're going to run into a day when you didn't do laundry. You're going
When
to
you
need
want to be
those.
I got
Superman.
bathing suits and
Superman.
Yeah,
Don the blue tights and put that on. Yes. And the red cape.
done.
I unearthed at the desk of a name of a person I will not say, but I unearthed the entire collection of brand new, pristine condition books from, I have to guess, the 50s of the Bobbsey twins. Hard-covered, whole collection in perfect condition. They're probably worth something.
Yeah, they're worth something.
This
I'd like to
building
read
hasn't
them.
been around
Yeah.
since the 50s. Like, where does this stuff come from?
I don't know. And I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, like we've only been around for, I guess, coming up on 2 years now. And I was looking at my desk, I was like, okay, well, I remember getting this. I knew this was here. I knew this was here. And then Tracy's unearthing these getcha stuff. I was like, man, I got to do more interesting stuff.
Well, I found all the, you're doing the Drop Zone this year, right?
Yes.
I found all the coupons and free stuff that I got from the Drop Zone last year, so I'm going to start spending that now.
Nice.
So we can go
Nice.
together
Are they
if you want.
not expired yet?
Oh, well, most of them were, yeah, for sure.
But speaking of the past, then, a topic that came up in the newsroom recently, and we didn't have time to fully get into it, was the 70s and the shows that were on the air in the 70s, because Jeff Bromley, one of our camera guys, was watching Different Strokes, a Different Strokes marathon. And some of what was on TV back in the 70s would be considered so offensive today, just, like, funny that people would find some of those things interesting, but he said, oh, it was just the best watching this Different Strokes marathon. What were your favorite 70s shows? And not the 70s show, but legitimate, well, like,
That's what I was going to say.
That's all you
because
got?
The thing about the 70s is I was still 18 years away from being born in 1970, so
fair enough.
there's that.
You've seen repeats, though.
Not much, not a whole lot.
Really,
no.
eh?
Like, and considering like my mom was very like into music when she was younger, but not so much like the TV aspect of it. So like I was never really, I guess, exposed to it very much. You'd see like reruns and stuff on, but of course I was watching sports at the time.
And I mean, I was a few years. I was born a few years earlier than you were born. But I was the same thing. Like I don't remember shows from the 70s. I didn't really watch reruns. No, again with the music, and I think it's again because we grew up in rural Manitoba.
Oh, yes.
We only had the AM dial, and cable was pretty limited as well, if you even had it. But the AM dial was oldies or country. So I pretty much know every oldies song ever written.
Well, yes,
That's a
I
shame.
also, because my parents chose to listen to it, we lived in the city. But now when they try to redo and bring back 70s style shows like Hawaii Five-0,
Or even movies and stuff.
why? Just leave it alone. It was leave it.
Or like replay the old ones. They were good.
It's never the same when they do it now.
It really isn't. No.
Macmillan and White.
Yeah.
Abhishek.
What?
Macmillan and White.
All the 70s mysteries.
Yes, they were
see-
classics. Columbo.
Really? Oh,
Columbo.
man, yeah.
Columbo is a
Columbo.
70s show.
That's
I
70s.
did
It's
watch
totally
Columbo.
70s,
Okay,
I've
yeah.
never watched Columbo. I know of.
I cannot believe that. Yeah, it's
The awkward genius, right?
Yeah, just one more question, ma'am. I used to work at 7-Eleven for the night shift, and I would come home in the morning, and I'd be too riled up from all the fun I had at 7-Eleven to go right to sleep. So I'd
And all
watch
the licorice you ate.
daytime mysteries. Yeah, and so there'd be, you're right, like Banachek, Columbo, McMillan and Wife, McLeod, all of like the guy who rode the horse and solved mysteries. Yeah,
I haven't even
Best
heard
stuff
of
ever.
other than Columbo. I haven't even heard of those others.
Wow,
Yeah.
McMillan and Wife, Rock Hudson.
That's it.
Oh,
I've
man.
never heard of
You've
that.
got some
Mildred.
homework to do.
Mildred.
Was their housekeeper.
Yes,
Yeah, we've
she's
talked about
awesome.
this. Yeah.
Yes.
And I've got some current pop and country music for you to listen to.
Oh,
so
I'll
we'll
get
just,
right on
we'll
that.
just
Yeah,
trade.
I bet we will. I bet we will.
But you like Banachek. Banachek was good.
Banachek was Banachek was like the
George Tappard.
70s George Clooney.
Yeah. Oh,
Really?
He
Yeah,
was.
he had the haircut with the little tiny bangs and it was all gray and all the ladies loved him.
And he used to smoke cigars.
He used to
and
smoke
that's when
cigars and
smoking
he
was
would
cool.
he would start the show by getting out of a kayak and stuff. Yeah, it was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it was the best.
So I like to start my.
Yeah, me too. Ever since.
Was Different Strokes, not Different Strokes, Three's Company, was that 70s or 80s?
I think that was like early 80s.
Early 80s.
I'm
It didn't,
not positive about that, though.
wasn't
There
sort of
might
at the
have
end of the
been. I mean,
70s.
Mr.
no?
Furley
Even
had
that,
some.
I didn't-
Mr.
Yeah.
Furley definitely had some 70s shirts going on.
Oh,
I'm not
sure,
about
yes.
that, yeah.
And that still had a sort of a 70s feel to
Yeah,
it,
totally.
right? And the fashion definitely migrated into the
Yeah,
early
for
parts of the
sure.
80s. But, and the fashion, of course. Like, I know the
What was,
80s
what
are.
was yours? What was your favorite 70s show?
I did watch Different Strokes.
Okay.
But see, now I'm having trouble differentiating between whether these shows were 80s.
I think that was early 80s too.
Early
but-
80s, different
yeah.
strokes, I think. Too.
Well, yeah, and that's what Jeff had brought that one up. So maybe
Growing
I'm not even
Pains.
sure because I was
Oh,
just
Growing Pains
born
was
at
full
the
80s. Yeah.
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 very
Wonder
end of the
Years, all
70s.
those things. Those were the
Oh,
my
yeah.
era. Like those are what I really remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of them
Family Ties.
were still on TV and repeats.
Well, I should be clear. I never watched any of these 70s shows like while they were in production. Like I was 3 when the 70s ended. So,
No, of course.
yeah.
Though interestingly, my parents they used to watch Hawaii Five-0, and then they got their first color television.
Mm-hmm.
And the first night they got to watch Hawaii Five-0 in color was like a huge night. Like it was just the
wow.
coolest thing, right? Because they had only had black and white till that point,
Mm-hmm.
which makes you realize how far we've come in 30 some odd years, right? Like
Yeah.
from black and white television to I've got a computer right here.
Yeah.
You know.
Or you go over to someone's house to watch the game and they only have like a 76-inch screen and
That
you're
is
like,
a
Just like, why are
disaster.
we
should have gone to
even
my
here?
place. Yeah.
But the fashion, 70s fashion was bad. 80s fashion was awful, and it's back in many.
Yes.
Like, could we please get shirts that go past here and aren't longer in the back? What is with this?
So you want to move to 90s fashion where everyone pins
Yeah,
their jeans?
I'm like, I'll
and-
stay in the 80s
Really?
rather than move into the 90s.
I say, you know what? I say stop rehashing old fashion. Let's just make something new. up.
There's only so much.
Well,
There's only
no,
so
but-
many ways to.
I call bull. Did you ever see? Did you ever see Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when they went to the future and everyone had like space clothes on?
We
When
haven't
is
done
that going to happen?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We haven't
In
done
the
that yet.
future, evidently.
Well,
That's-
but it's the future now compared to then, and we're still not doing it. So I think we should have like big arm things and boots and weird.
Aluminum
like your-
foil
yeah,
was a
exactly,
huge
exactly.
part of the wardrobe.
and
I
it's
understand.
very affordable.
And
It's
red
very
underwear.
affordable. And red underwear. Maybe
And
I'll
red
get on that.
underwear,
Yeah.
yes.
I can get a whole roll of aluminum foil for like $2 at Super Value.
Plus, you can make hats out of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we probably need to take a break and come back and talk about far more intelligent things than this.